Wonderland.jar. Released in late 2025 by creator Alexander25, Wonderland.jar is a Minecraft horror mod that pulls you into a horrifying dimension called the Wonderland. At first, everything seems fine, but this is just called the grace period, where encounters are sparse and the world feels almost normal. But that doesn't last long at all. The mod shifts into phases, each one unlocking new entities that can now roam your world. And by the time you visited the Wonderland dimension and made it back, the gates are wide open. The entities you'll encounter fall into three categories: former players, demons, and anomalies. Former players were once regular Minecraft users, now twisted beyond recognition and hunting you with what's left of their memories. Meanwhile, demons are the masterminds, pitch-black figures with glowing eyes, capable of driving people to madness just by being witnessed. The entity is the clearest example of this. Seeing it twice sends you spiraling before you die of a heart attack in your sleep, and then your soul is trapped in the Wonderland forever. That said, demons aren't completely unstoppable. Crosses can hold them back, but only to varying degrees. And then there are the anomalies, entities of completely unknown origin on whom crosses have no effect whatsoever. The mod features 25 dimensions in total, each more unsettling than the last, from a snow-covered bridgescape stretching on forever to the bedrock hallways, never-ending red-lit corridors that serve as the lair of something that clearly hasn't eaten in a while. For a mod released in late 2025, Wonderland.jar already has more lore, dimensions, and ways to ruin your evening than most, and it's still being updated. Cryptid. This one is a gritty Minecraft horror mod developed by SteamPred, built around a raw, old-school Doom aesthetic that makes everything feel like a fever dream you can't quite name. It doesn't tell you a neat and structured story. The lore is scattered across achievements, secret notes, chat messages, and rare events, hiding in plain sight that you have to piece together. With over 30 entities, 20+ structures, and 50+ events, there's no shortage of things that want to ruin your day. The entities are ranked in tiers from Class 1 to Class 6, and the higher the class, the more you'll start to question yourself why you installed it in the first place. On the lower end, the whale just shows up and plays an ominous sound, its only job being to announce that something far worse is on the way. A step up from that is the heart, the root of all corruption in the world. You can't destroy it. It simply respawns elsewhere, following you by teleporting and quietly draining your harmony until the harrow, a giant flying skull, shows up and kills you instantly. Now, at the very top sits Stagnant, a colossal cyclops who doesn't sneak, doesn't scheme, and doesn't negotiate. He just chases you, loudly, relentlessly, and with absolutely zero chill. It's messy, unapologetic, and relentless, which is what makes it one of the most memorable horror mods out there. The Broken Script, created by Wonderland.jar. The Broken Script takes you to a world corrupted by anomalous void entities as you solve a mysterious, tragic fate that happened to a set of friends. The server once felt normal, but it was slowly overtaken by Integrity, a malicious entity with a taste for torment. It started with strange altars and broken chat systems, then escalated into the clan members being twisted into hostile figures that now stalk the game. Their souls remain trapped, wandering as corrupted shells that remember too much of what happened. The gameplay leans into slow burn horror, where nothing feels off at first until the world begins to unravel. Peaceful difficulty is locked away, void fog creeps in, and every day the corruption grows worse. Bases can be destroyed by sudden lava casts, mobs vanish without explanation, and signs replace broken chat as if the server itself is mocking you. There are no real safe zones, since certain entities spawn through walls or even inside your tunnels, leaving you no chance to prepare. The entities themselves seal the terror. Circuit hunts in caves while mimicking animals. Null keeps a tally of your reputation and decides whether to help or punish. And Revexus shows up only to erase your world entirely. Faraway only watches, while Curved strikes with glitching violence. Random events like eerie music, blue screen flashes, and sudden midnight shifts keep you on edge. In Broken Script, survival is less about building and more about enduring a tragedy that refuses to stay buried. No Moon.jar. What happens when the moon suddenly disappears? That's the central lore behind No Moon.jar. This mod builds its entire horror around a collapsing lunar cycle, where the once familiar night sky slowly fractures and glitches until the world itself begins to unravel. The shattering moon is more than a visual, it acts as a gateway for the void to spill into the overworld, corrupting everything from mobs to terrain. Each passing night ramps up the dread, with the sky serving as a clock counting down to disaster. The game mode here isn't about comfort but endurance. Standard Minecraft survival is sabotaged at every step as bases collapse, mobs act strangely, and random events rip away any sense of stability. Your shelters are never permanent, since the corruption tears down what you build and floods your game with distortions and hostile entities. The atmosphere thickens into paranoia as the lunar cracks grow wider, and survival itself becomes secondary to unraveling what is really happening. Through chat, cryptic figures like Nothing Left offer fragmented guidance, giving keywords, coordinates, and tasks that drive the story forward. Following those leads reveals Andrew, known as The Alone, and hints of countless others claimed by the Void. Ignore the voices and the world crumbles into chaos, but heed them, and you uncover a path toward dimensions that hold the final confrontation. The end goal looms clear: restore or replace the shattered moon before the Void consumes everything. Fail, and the crash is permanent. From the caves. In this mod, it is highly recommended not to go into the caves, but even if you don't, the disturbing and twitching entities from underground will make you regret your decision to join this world. On the surface, everything feels like classic survival. You gather wood, collect food, and fight off ordinary mobs. That normal rhythm breaks once you approach a cave entrance, where Enderman and the Broken Steve appear without warning. His split head stares from the shadows, marking the start of a descent you cannot undo. Falling into the caves puts you through stages of mounting dread. The first sign is the sense of being watched, then subtle shifts as blocks move or break when you turn away. The deeper you push, the more the world bends against you until the entity fully emerges, stronger than before and unwilling to disappear. Through every phase, the Broken Steve returns, proof that you've disturbed something that will not leave you alone. The caves themselves are overrun. Creepers wander beside corrupted bats, and humanoid armored mobs swing axes in the dark tunnels. Moss-choked churches and ruined libraries serve as warnings carved into the earth. Players craft wooden crosses to buy time, but these defenses weaken with each phase. Once awakened, he climbs beyond the caves, and what you unleashed below will stalk the surface. Split Self. No zombie Steve, strong void entities, or even a scary moon death. Here in Split Self, your worst enemy is your own self. The mod twists survival into something personal, with the antagonist being an alternate version of you known as the Other. It does not care about your Minecraft character, only you. Early on, a text file pops up on your desktop saying, "Can't you see yourself?" And from there, the lines between game and reality blur. Inside the world, strange events escalate. A jump scare entity flashes you a smile with a screeching noise, mobs turn violent, and signs scatter with cryptic notes about choices and forgotten pasts. If you type into chat, the Other responds. Say hello, and it greets you back. Ask who it is, and it claims to be your past, the part you abandoned. It hints at being both above the sky and the land you walk on, daring you to come find it. When you finally sleep, you are pulled into a dreamlike realm where the Other waits. Deep in the mines, it stares up at you, patient and silent. Follow it, and your screen floods with black glitches, a warning that its freedom is near. From the Fog. Hiding in the haze is the legendary boogeyman of Minecraft, Herobrine. Created by Lunar Eclipse Studios, this horror mod focuses on quiet harassment rather than a direct chase. He watches from the fog, lurking at the edges of your vision, only to vanish the moment you try to confirm he was ever there. Wolves growl when he is nearby, footsteps echo with no source, and sometimes he creeps up directly behind you, waiting for the turn that makes your stomach drop. His signature is tampering with your world in ways that feel wrong but never loud enough to dismiss. Torches vanish and return as redstone or soul lanterns. Trees are stripped of leaves, and tunnels appear underground where you swore you never mind. He builds pyramids and alters paintings, reshaping your world with the same uncanny touches from those early creepypasta stories. Even your base is fair game. Shrines light themselves, chests fill with strange junk, and on unlucky nights you find ominous signs where you slept. Though mostly subtle, he can still strike. A sudden tap, a quick jump scare, even a crash if you enabled it. The horror is in the silence, because Herobrine is never gone, only waiting in the fog. The Anomaly. The Anomaly all started from a highly infectious code that now plagues the entire game, creating malevolent entities like the Steve that has multiple sharp teeth between its torso and neck. What was once a faint presence in the distance grows into a force that leaves messages tucked inside books and items hidden in your chests, proof that something unseen is following every step. The impression is not immediate terror, but a steady reminder that the game itself has turned against you. Strange phenomena begin to unravel across the world. The moon appears fractured, clouds speed unnaturally across the sky, and sudden distortions sweep over the screen. Sleep offers no escape since the code lingers nearby and waits, retreating only to prepare its next strike. It toys with rhythm, stepping back for days before unleashing heavier chaos, keeping players in a cycle of dread where nothing feels stable. When the confrontation finally comes, the entities it summons leave no question of intent. Groups of red-eyed Steves emerge, and spiders with glowing eyes hunt relentlessly. The anomaly never explains itself, never reveals a cause. It only keeps on spreading and evolving until you're caught to death. Root of Fear. Introducing the boss-level entity called the Wilted, a tree-like mutation of Weeping Angels. The Root of Fear is a mod built around this towering predator that emerges from the Pale Garden's legacy and now freely roams the overworld. Unlike passive threats, its arrival is announced with a sequence that builds dread. Strange noises echo 2 days before the fight, then a suffocating fog settles in as night falls, signaling the hunt is about to begin. The Wilted is not only massive, but unnervingly intelligent. It sabotages light sources by wrapping them in roots, forcing players into darkness where its strength grows. Campfires are extinguished, torches fail, and only constant vigilance keeps the shadows from closing in. Even disguised at first, it uses unpredictable behavior to stalk, wait, and strike when least expected. Once the attack begins, its methods are brutal. Branches burst from the floor to impale, pale leaves swarm and obscure your view, and its enormous limbs can lift you up or slam you into the ground in a few crushing blows. Fire remains its greatest weakness, yet even with flames, survival feels fragile. The Wilted turns the night into a trial, proving the forest itself has chosen to fight back. Arphex. Are you afraid of spiders? Well, if you are, this mod is for you. The Arthropod Phobia expansion, or Arphex for short, probably has the biggest spiders in Minecraft that will surely trigger your arachnophobia. But spiders are only the start. This mod piles on centipedes, beetles, and crawling nightmares that make your world feel less like a block game and more like the set of a horror reboot of A Bug's Life. Exploration quickly becomes a gauntlet. Spider caves crawl with swarms, and deeper still is the crawling dimension, a layered hive that spits out new arthropod mobs with each step. To survive, you gather strange resources and craft gear designed to counter their swarming tactics, but nothing feels safe for long. Mid-tier bosses emerge with unpredictable mechanics, forcing you to adapt or run, and each victory feels temporary, since stronger predators always replace the fallen. It all builds toward the Tormentor, a biome-sized monstrosity that fuses insect and spider traits into one endgame superboss. This thing doesn't just tower, it follows across dimensions, summons upgraded bosses you already beat, and hammers you with explosive powers. By the time you face it, you'll wish you had more than bug spray to keep the swarm away. Playing these mods is a lot easier when you don't have the survival instinct of a fart. Subscribe for more, and see you in the next one.